Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is a collaboration with the lovely Divine Feminine energy. I'm really excited about this collaboration because we are taking a look at past lives and the Akashic Records, which very much so is one of my favorite topics. So thank you so much to Lynn for reaching out. I'm thinking of doing a topic like this because honestly, this is like my favorite type of reading. So what you're going to do is watch part 1 here, which we are going to be taking a look at what past life you're most connected to, and then you're going to head over to watch part 2 over on Lynn's channel, which is Divine Feminine Energy, and I will have the links in the description box. Before I get into the reading, it's really windy where I'm at right now. Even with the window shut, the wind is really strong. I have turned my mic off so that I'm just closer to the mic where I'm recording, so that it's like better for you guys so you don't hear all the commotion outside, but apologies if it does make its way into the reading. So yeah, let's get in. I'm really excited to do this, so once again thank you to Lynn for reaching out and thinking of this collaboration, and as you can see I'm very excited, so I want to just hop straight in. So pile number 1, we have the orange calcite. Pile number 2, we have the shell. Pile 3, we have the green aventurine heart. And pile number 4, we have, oh god, oh my goodness, it ran away. Pile number 4, we have the pink moss agate. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will have the link to Divine Feminine Energy channel in the description box too. And yeah, I'll see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what past life you are most connected to. So I'm going to start with tarot and move into your oracle cards. You guys chose the orange calcite. I placed that up in the corner, and we are going to get straight in. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1, straight away I'm being taken to East Asia. I'm being taken to East Asia, I'm being taken to China, I'm being taken to Japan. I'm even being taken to like Thailand and places like that. Like I'm being taken that way. Yeah, I'm being taken that way, and I keep being shown I don't know whether you would call this a yogi. It doesn't necessarily feel like a Buddhist or a Buddhist monk. It doesn't even feel like what I would consider a shaman. I just see somebody sitting in and practicing stillness and practicing how do I explain it? Being in control of their own consciousness. There's like stillness coming through when I'm tapping in. I'm hearing telekinesis for whoever's been called and drawn to that. I'm being shown dragons that are coming through. And then it does remind me of Buddhism because I know they talk about reaching nirvana, and I'm hearing the word nirvana. So I'm being taken there as well. There's something about, I'm going to lay the cards and get into it, but the minute I tap into your energy and I see the lifetime I'm being taken to, it's like you being in control of your surroundings and you realizing that you are creating what's around you. And I see you guys not only being super present, but being super aware of everything. You know, like a fly, and they see things in a bit more like slow motion. It's like that. Yeah, I'm being taken to that. Like you can see things coming before they happen. Like your psychic, I don't know. Let me get into it. This is really interesting. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. You know, like when they do kung fu, and you've got to like predict the person's next move, and even like with wrestling or like kickboxing or anything like that, you've got to control your body to like be aware of what the other person does and like move your body like that. It's like you practicing that, but not just in the sense of like wrestling, kickboxing, fighting, kung fu, anything like that. It's in like everyday life. It's like you're moving about life and it's like action reaction and you're aware of it. It's really interesting, but but it's like you're doing it in a way where you're like, I see you looking at frequencies and energies around you, and then you're like it's like you're having mastery over them. Like you can see people's moves, understand people's body language, the way people are moving, can see danger. like in your let me put the tarot cards down so I can really articulate it properly. It's really interesting, and it's downloaded to me to the point that I'm becoming it, and because I don't know how to explain it, it's going to take me a while to get used to, because this is the first pile. I've got to warm up, so just let me get the cards down and I'll probably be able to explain it better. Pile number one, please, spirit guides. What past life are my pile number ones most connected to? Let me grab your card. Who knows? You could have been a fly in a past life. I don't think you were. I just think there's movement like that where you're able to almost be aware of things and slow down. This is how it's been explained. You know, like when you incarnate into the physical world, this is going to get a bit woo-woo, but I know you guys love that and I do too. You know, when you incarnate into the physical world and you're in the 3D physical body, and everything moves slower, your manifestations come in slower, everything's a lot more dense and everything's a bit more concrete. But then when you go to the higher realms, you're more aware that everything's energy, because things move faster, you can manifest things in quicker, you can control your reality quicker. It's almost like you guys were becoming aware of where you were to elevate your energy to a higher vibration so that you could have things coming quicker for you, and you could be aware, as per your Akashic records, as per your own timelines, as to how people were going to move and what they were going to do. It's almost like you were able to crack the system. It's reminding me of in the Hunger Games where there was this guy called Beatty, and he was like a tech savvy person. He was really intelligent, and he was able to see where there was a force field just by really like training his eye and looking, so he could see, you know, where the force field was, so he could like break through it and find a hack in the system. It's like you were doing that, but in regards to consciousness in the 3D realm. It's really interesting that that's coming through. So it could have even be something a lot of people practice. I mean, there's a lot of you probably watching this, but I'm specifically being taken to East Asia. Like, that's specifically where I'm being taken. Pile number one, please, spirit guides. Pile number one. Pile number one. That's so crazy. I wasn't even looking at the moon card, and I was going, I don't know why I keep being shown scorpions. I don't know why. I don't know why. And I was about to say it, and then as I did, I look at the moon and there's a literal scorpion on the card. And I know that there's a scorpion on the card usually, but it just went out of my brain, and I was just seeing it in my mind's eye, and then it's there. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, I feel like you guys, there was a lifetime where you would hack into your subconscious, go into your subconscious and train it to almost Seven of Swords. You would train it to kind of like either get ahead or cheat the 3D system in a way. It was like, if I'm going to incarnate here, I need some fun. I need to be able to like create my own reality, or really like, it was like you were too conscious in a way for your own good. Like, even when you would incarnate and you wouldn't remember a lot, you naturally would like wake it up within you, follow the breadcrumbs, and then just start. I keep being shown telekinesis. Like, you would be able to do that and train your brain. You had a really strong mental power in this lifetime. You know, like when you see those people, and I don't know where it is, I don't know where in the world it is, but there's these people and they work with snakes, and they're like really deadly snakes, and if you get bitten by one, you die. Like, it's that bad. But these people get bitten by the snakes all the time, but they never die because they've trained their brain to tell their brain that the venom isn't poisonous and they'll never die. So they hold these snakes, and that group of people never actually end up dying because their body's completely immune to it, because they told their brain that it's not venomous. And the amount of power it takes to do that, I feel like you guys had this strong mental power in that lifetime. I've never seen anything like this. Pile number one. I'm hearing samurai. I'm hearing Nicki Minaj's song, Super Freaky Girl, and she says, I've got a princess face, a killer body, samurai mind. I think that they were just singing the song to get their that word across, because I mean, who knows, but that was what I got. Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. Okay, and then the back of the deck we have the Tower. All right, okay. Okay, so spirit guides, tap me into the Akashic records of my pile number ones. Tap me into the Akashic records of my pile number ones. What timeline, what lifetime are my pile number ones the most connected to from Earth? Okay, so I feel like this you being able to have such a strong connection to your own mind and be able to kind of cheat the system like that and control, how do I explain it? I feel like you were able to read body languages and control and manipulate in a really good way. If you wanted to use it in a negative way, I feel like you would have been a really good manipulator in regards, like you were just really savvy like that. You mastered a sense of mental awareness and mental power. That's where I'm being taken. And normally I'd be like, with that level of energy, I would think it would come from like Avalon or Atlantis. I don't think so. I feel like there would have been like ancient tribes back in the day around East Asia where a lot of you would have maybe had access to this gift, or a lot of you incarnated. It was ancestral, I'm being told, and you would have incarnated and been really connected to this gift. And I'm being told that you guys mastered it to a level where I feel like you may have been headhunted by certain people. Like that's where I'm being taken. It's like you were headhunted. I feel like people wanted like a bite of that power. And I feel like in regards to that lifetime, I feel like you were very balanced in polarities in regards to like the light and dark. So it wasn't like, I'm going to use these powers and wake everybody up, because I don't even think that was even like a sort of mission on earth at that time. But I don't think you were using it in a sense of, I'm going to use this to manipulate people and get what I want. I just think that you were just super focused on going inward and bettering yourself. And I do feel like you were headhunted by people, for a lot of you guys, that maybe not have had the best intention for you. And I feel like you would have been able to seed and bring through maybe information or give information to people that ended up using that gift in not the best way. It's kind of reminding me a little bit though of like Atlantis, when they kind of got a little bit power hungry, or they got very they focused very much on power. They were super intelligent, and that ended up being kind of like the demise. It's kind of reminding me of that, but it's almost like, I'm not working for the light, I'm not working for the dark, I'm just trying to embed on myself. Like I feel like you were really working on yourself, and I feel like you might have got swayed to pass on information which then people decided to use for not the best reasons. And then I feel like there's almost like this realization of, oh my god, what have I done? Feeling guilt. But I don't feel like, how do I explain? I'm trying to put this into words. It's taken me a while, because your higher self comes through with a strong mental energy that reminds me of like Arcturian beings. And it's hard for me to bring that through and pass it on. It takes me a little while to get through it. And it makes sense for you to be that much of an old soul and have had control over your own mind like that. There's this lesson that you would have learned where I feel like sometimes with power and having an advantage in, like, let's just say being super intelligent in regards to science or spiritual gifts, sometimes people can use that for negativity, and sometimes it can end up destroying everything around it. And I feel like you were so focused in that lifetime of like learning like in regards to you, passing on that information, having everybody kind of like tap into themselves. I feel like you would have witnessed people using that power and that mental energy and that, you know, ability to manipulate or maybe hack the 3D. You were able to witness that and its downfall. You were able to witness people take it to like the negative side, take power over people, have all of the wealth and keep people deprived. You would have witnessed that. And I feel like at that point, I feel like a purpose was kind of ignited within you. Because before, I don't see there was a purpose. It was more so like, I'm going to mentally connect to this. I'm going to, you know, work on telekinesis. I'm going to work on, you know, manipulating energy like this. I'm going to work on it. But then it got to a point where it was like, when you were passing out that information and you saw people using that information for the worst, you were then able to have this passion ignited in you, or this purpose ignited in you, where it was like, oh my god, no, that like, and this is when there was a balance that was created of like negative and light. And I feel like there was more of an emphasis on like the negative and people using that power to get a hold over people. And I feel like you witnessed that, and it was like, oh my god, no, I need to bring power to like people. I need to like I need to help people, like this isn't fair, I can't believe this is happening. And I feel like there's guilt that even may still be within you in regards to like because I feel like you guys have a fear of going corrupt, or having your gifts get the better of you, or your intelligence getting the better of you, or maybe you've had people in your life kind of put you down or make you the bad guy to the point that you may call yourself a bad guy. And I think it stems from this lifetime. I feel like it stems from this lifetime with this Tower card here, where I feel like you would have witnessed the demise or your gifts. You would have seen people use them or get a hold of them and use them for the negative, and then it was like, oh my god, no. And you may have even at first passed on the information in regards to like, oh well, you give us this information, we can give you these riches, you give us this information, we can give you that. And at first it was like, oh okay, cool, I can't imagine they'd do any bad with it, I'll take, you know, whatever you'd have back in the day. I don't know what it would be. I'm being shown land for some reason, I don't know why. Oh, you can have this land. Oh, okay, so then you're sitting in your land and you're feeling like you've done good, and then all of a sudden I feel like those same people would have caused bad with it, and then when you would kind of call them out, it was like, well, you were the one that taught us this, you're the root of this. And it's like, oh my god, but it was their intentions that did that. And I feel like that sits quite strongly, and I think the reason your higher self was brought this up is I feel like the reason you're incarnating on earth is to bring back the balance, bring the power back to the people, teach everybody, you know what I mean, teach minorities, teach people that don't know about this connection to spirit or have this mental energy, teach them to gain that, teach them that the power's in their hands. I feel like that's what you've come, teach people how to master their subconscious, teach people to be aware that we can be connected to light and work for the light, but we have to be aware that there is darkness out there, and we need to be aware of that so we can move accordingly and be aware of it and be in the present and be aware of the dangers that kind of come through. It's 2:22 on the clock, by the way, if you guys have been seeing that number a lot, 2:22, which is, you know, 2 is ruled by the moon, and we literally have the moon leading the reading. So it's like you guys are teaching people how to work with their subconscious, work with their, you know, higher selves, and master the 3D realm so people can't get one over on them. Because if you look at the world today, everyone's set up not realizing how to quote unquote cheat the system, not realizing that they're able to manifest and be aware of their reality and purge things that are holding them back in their subconscious. People aren't aware of that, and I feel like you've incarnated to help people find that light within them, because it could even be the generations down the line, the people that you would have helped back then may exist today and still be a part of it, you know what I mean, or that other ancestors and incarnations. So you've incarnated like, well, I'm bringing it back, there's something about that. But there's this feeling like the thing about incarnating on earth is us souls and higher selves, we create meaning for everything, and how we move about, we create meaning. So if something happens to us, a new meaning of what life is and why we choose to incarnate can be born. And I feel like that happened. I feel like you were just focused on connecting to that mental energy, and I think that your soul's choice of like incarnating in those times was like, I'm going to reach that, you know, mental energy and bring it to the forefront. We lost it back in the day, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to tap into my mind as much as I can. And I feel like you had a bunch of incarnations, and I think your higher self was like, okay, let's make this interesting then, because we've kind of mastered this, let's see what we can do now. And I feel like you're in that set of incarnations now where it's like bringing the balance and using it for good and teaching everybody to like wake up to that. Really, really interesting. But I'm not being taken to anywhere other than East Asia. I just keep being taken there on the map. That's the only place I'm being taken to. So let's pull your oracle cards. Really, really interesting. I feel like you guys are just I feel like you guys could get to that point of being master manifestors, like working with energy, mentally, psychically being aware of certain timelines in front of you and how people move. And I feel like as well, your intuition is on point. I feel like you know when people are lying, you know when people, you have it like right now, you know when people are lying, you know when people are struggling, you can feel it, you can see it, you mentally understand it. You may have a lot of air in your chart right now, in your tropical chart, your sidereal chart, your draconic chart. Like I just see you guys mastering that element, and you guys being able to see people for what they are, really understand people and like mentally get it, you know what I mean? Even people that, you know, like with the Joker, and he is being talked about, and he talks and he's like, oh, what does the Joker say when he's sitting there and he's like, I don't know what he said. It's It's really interesting what he said though. But he was talking about how I don't know, you're gonna have to type in like the Joker saying, but there was like a saying that he said which was to do with like people's like mental states and mental energy and why they do what they do. And I feel like you'd click with that. Like I wish I could pass on to you, I'm so sorry I can't. But I just see you guys, psychology and criminology and all of that. I think that you guys would be so good at that. And I would say therapy, but I think that your power is more mental than emotional. Not that you guys aren't emotional beings. I feel like that was definitely ignited within you in that particular life we just got taken to. So that you guys could have a reason for incarnating and helping people wake up to that power. So that empathy was really opened up in that sense. But I feel like as far as mastery, you have mastered the mental side. So I feel like anything to do with psychology and going deep into that, I think you'd be absolutely brilliant at it. You understand people in a way that they can't even understand themselves, and that's because of those lifetimes. You understand people's subconscious, and I feel like you understand the way the world works and manifestations and energy fields and dimensions because of that. Really interesting. You may have had incarnations in Atlantis where this happened too, because in Atlantis there was a power play and that led to the fall of it. And as I say that, I'm looking at my book, which is called The Lost Lands, and it talks about Atlantis in there. So that's quite interesting. I'm going to use these because they fell. Yeah, we literally have manifest. Like, I feel like, you know, to put it into like a movie kind of way, you know, like Matilda, and she makes things move kind of like that. Because telekinesis is really real, and moving objects with your own mind, that can happen. Or like with your arms. You know, when people have the crystals and then they do that and then the crystal falls over. I don't think I've mastered my mental energy enough yet to do that, but some people do. I've seen in the comments some of you guys can do that. So you may be watching this. But I see you guys being able to do that and understand that. It's like the Matrix when the girl is holding the spoon. She's able to move the spoon with her mind. And then he's like, how does she do that? And then she's like, there is no spoon. And do you know what I mean? Like that whole scene, I feel like that's you. You're the girl with the spoon. I feel like that's you. I feel like The Matrix would be a movie that you guys would like. Most of you have probably watched it. I keep hearing Samurai Mind from the Nicki Minaj song. Pile number 1, please. Past life of pile number 1, please. We have the Observer. What was I saying when I first tapped into your energy and I was literally being shown a person sitting there and just being so still and observing everything, every thought, every color, every movement, every energy, every feeling, it's like you trained your brain to move like that with the Observer, so that you were able to see the Akashic records and see timelines in front of you and vibrations in front of you and how people were moving. You might have even been able to see people's like consciousness, like, okay, you're super awake to this, okay, you're not so awake to this, like, and it's, I'm looking at it in a way for me because Spirit's making it make sense for me to explain. It's like, you know, when you have a plant and it's fully bloomed or it's not fully bloomed, and that's the thing about human consciousness, the plant just keeps blooming and blooming and expands. And I feel like you're looking at people like in the form of plants, like, okay, this person's just got a stem, this person's got a flower come out, that person's still a seed. You know what I mean? Like, you're able to look at that. It's like you trained your brain to look in that way. It's super interesting. Never seen anything like this in a reading before. Pile number 1, we have Fate. And it's funny that this reading came up as the one that you are most connected to, because that incarnation that we just talked about triggered the next set of incarnations that you had, which is your purpose now, to bring people this information and help the people that genuinely have pure intentions to have that information so that you can balance the energy back. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you would have fed information to maybe the wrong people at that time period, which wasn't your doing. I feel like it was tricked. It was like a trickster energy. We have the 7 of Swords here. It was like a trickster energy. And I feel like now you're like, I have to balance it back. Oh my god, I have to bring that balance back. It's super, super interesting. And the back of the deck we have Ask Body. So again, when we control the mind, we're able to have more control over the physical body. Like I was saying, those men in that tribe that have control over their mind enough to tell their physical body that the venom wasn't actually poisonous. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like you gained control over that, because I was being shown like movements like kung fu and things like that, where I'm being shown everything in slow motion. Even though everything's moving fastly, I'm able to see it in slow motion to understand how it's really, really interesting. It's like someone's coming towards me with a negative intention, but I can see it 10 minutes before it happens. So I know to move, or I know what positions to be in. It's like I'm reading the situation, even to the point where it's like, okay, that person, the way, like I'm literally being shown somebody getting in a fight or being attacked, and then going, okay, this person's hip is positioned a certain way, which means that they actually have a really weak, I don't know, let's say joint in their knee, I don't know, right? So it's like, that means that they're weak there, so let me target there. So they're able to target there just by observing. Even though they're under attack, they're able to control their mind enough that they're able to like observe that, maybe smack that knee so that person falls to the ground, and then run off. So it's like you were able to address, like analyze the situation, or maybe just like intuitively picking up like, okay, this person has a lot of self-esteem issues, which means that maybe there's a connection with their gut and their solar plexus and their stomach not being the best and being a bit weak. Let me target that to get out of this situation. And then you target that, and that worked because that's where they were actually really sensitive, and then you get out. That's what I'm being taken to. It's really interesting where I'm being taken, and I hope I'm explaining it articulately for you guys, because this is really, really interesting. And I think with the manifest card, that's what I'm being shown, like hacking into the understanding of these realms and how to work with energy and how to manifest. It's like, okay, well, I would like this in this lifetime, so I need to tap into my subconscious and rewrite something, because in this lineage where I've incarnated, they have a lack of this, or they don't believe that this can come in. So let me just do some shadow work, take a year out, tap into the subconscious, rewrite a few things, and when I bounce back, I'll bring that in. Okay, cool. And it's like you just ace things like that because you understand that mental energy of how it works. Super, super interesting. Really, really intelligent. Really, really intelligent. So let's pull some final cards for you guys. Pile number one, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number one, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number one, tap me into the collectives of my pile number ones. Tap me into the collective of my pile number ones. Tap me into the collective of my pile number ones. What past life are they most connected to? This card just popped up for me. Oh my god, guys, we literally have visualize. We literally have that here. It's like you're able to tap into your mind and your higher body to be able to bring and manifest things in. And visualize things and watch them happen. Or you tap into your Akashic records to the point that you'd either have crazy deja vu, because maybe you wouldn't as a human being remember that you were seeing these things before they happened when you were reviewing, or I just see you guys seeing like life events in regards to your Akashic records and then seeing them happening. It's like really interesting. Really, really interesting. I feel like you guys have quite a deep connection and a strong connection to your higher mind and your higher self. It's super interesting. Pile number one, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number one. Pile number one. With the self-love card here as well, I am being told that like there was maybe a few lifetimes where you suffered with shame or people making you out to be the bad guy, in regards to karma that maybe you had to get over, in the sense that maybe for a couple of lives that would happen where you'd give information to the wrong people and then you'd end up with shame. But I think that was happening for you to break through that karma of you guys maybe hating yourself for decisions you made or putting yourself down for decisions you made, because at the end of the day you were sharing information. It was their choice if they were going to use it badly. And I feel like you've dealt with shame and stuff like that to the point that you've had a few incarnations where you could build yourself up and be like, I'm not these words that other people say. I'm not what, like, people that are looking at my weak spot, my vulnerable spot, which you know full well how to do that because you've been aware of it. They're using my work against me, and they're looking at my vulnerable spot and they're using it to put me down because the power of the mind, right? And I feel like you'd get that, and I feel like you were having a couple of incarnations to pour back into yourself, tap into your own power and realize you are a good person, you know what I mean? Because you weren't choosing to exploit that gift. And I think that is, you know, something that you've had to work on, self-love, and not taking other people's opinions into your own reality, because you're super aware of what you bring into your own reality you can manifest. That's why you super observe, so that you can keep on the highest timeline when you're incarnating. Yeah, definitely, it's really, really interesting. So final card, please, spirit guides, pile number 1. What incarnation are they the most connected to? We have soulmate in. Interesting. And that's number 7, which is connected to Neptune. Mastery of, I feel like, oh, this is really, really interesting. Do you know, like, a lot of people are able to access the higher realms through their crown chakra and connecting to spirit and travel in the realms, and there's so many ways you can connect to the higher realms, but I feel like the way you connect to the higher realms is through your own human mind. Like, you're able to elevate the human mind for it to be able to become a reality. It's really interesting. Like, when for example, when I'll connect to the higher realms, I'll do so through my heart, and I more so will travel the realms and energetically kind of bring that energy through and into me, whereas you're like, it's super turned into the mind to be able to take your mind there. I've never done that. I usually just go with my emotional body and my spiritual body, but you're able to take your mind there, which is really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. I feel like you're someone that has a lot of coding. You'd be good as like decoders. You know, when you see occultists and they decode things, I see a lot of them on Twitter. I follow a few of them. They're really interesting. You could be one of those. You'd be really good at that. Yeah. You're able to understand the physical realm beyond a point of seeing it and understanding it as energy, but understanding it through the human mind to expand the mind. That's really, really interesting. But why do we have soulmate, spirit guides? Why do we have soulmate? There's more of you. That's what I'm being told. There's more of you. And remember, soulmate isn't just a relationship, it's a friendship. I'm being told there's more of you. Of course there's more of you, because you've all watched this pile. There's more than one person watching this pile. But I keep being told to say, and as far as I can, it's the only thing I'm being told to say, there's more of you. And I keep being shown like a group of people putting their fingers together and again ecstatic. Like, that's all I'm being told for that card. Whatever that means for whoever it, you know, needs to be for. And then the back of the deck we have joy. Joy. Interesting. I feel like you're aware as well that the more confident somebody is, the more somebody is able to express you know, their heart and their emotions and feel confident in things and feel that power, the more they're able to not only master this realm but live in a state of peace. And I feel like it's almost like, well, I've chosen a side. Like, I'm choosing to help people tap into this power so that they can find that joy within themselves and no longer feel like a slave to their own mind and a slave to other people's, you know, words and what they're projecting onto them. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people will live with a sheltered outlook because it's just what they're taught all their lives, and they're taught to not look outside the box. And I feel like you're teaching people to look outside the box so they could really reach that joy and realize that power's within them. That's what you're here to do. It's almost like I pick a side. And the song for you I'm hearing is To Love and Die by Jhené Aiko, which I will have in the description box if you want to listen to that song. It's called To Love and Die, Jhené Aiko. I'll keep it in the description box for you guys. So that's what I have for you, pile one. It was really, really interesting. Thoroughly enjoyed that, actually. I learned a lot from this. So thank you guys so much for letting me read you guys' energy. I love this a lot. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you enjoyed. Head over to Divine Feminine Energies channel to watch part 2 of the reading, and say hello and hit subscribe over there. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what past life you guys are mostly connected to. So you guys chose the shell. Now before I get in, when I pick crystals and the ornaments or whatever I'm choosing for each pile, I always go to what I'm drawn to for each pile. Sometimes I'll put my hands over the crystals and see what will reference, or I'll see colors so I know, you know, what chakra energy is going to be strong, and I'll pick a crystal that resonates with that, or I'll just be drawn to a particular crystal. But for this pile, I was being shown visual images for each pile of what I was going to have before I even started. And when it came to pile 2, straight away I was being shown the shell. And I said, is there any reason why I'm being taken to the shell? And I hadn't even fully opened up to read yet. And straight away I heard, this is going to be a water pile. It needs to be a shell. And I was like, that's really interesting, because normally when I find out that you guys are my water pile, hello again by the way, I realize it's you because of the energy, the collective energy that comes through. It's this emotional centered, strong, beautiful energy, and I feel like I'm immersed in this crystallized water. It's really beautiful. Or it'll sometimes indicate in the cards, and then the more I lean into it, I feel that familiar energy. Whereas today it was like, this is going to be a water pile, and they told me beforehand, which I thought was really interesting. I don't know why, but yeah, that was why. Just thought I'd pass that on, really. So hi again, guys. So let's get in. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. I also as well want to say, I get a comment sometimes saying I don't know why I keep being in your water pile, even though I'm always drawn to it because I don't have water in your chart. You don't have to have water in your chart for that. The reason I call it my water pile is because your collective energy on a soul level feels like a crystallized, watery, empathic, emotional centered dome. That's kind of how it feels when I open up to your energies and I welcome in your energies. You feel soft, connected to your emotions. Sometimes when I tap into the higher selves, I'm literally shown water bodies, like your higher selves are of water, but it's not like water you see on earth. It's like crystallized water, almost like vaporized water. It's really interesting, but that's just because of the way your soul energy comes through. It represents you guys being from quite higher realms. There's so many different reasons. It doesn't have to show in your natal chart. I just call it my water pile because that's what it feels like. So I wanted to get that out so you guys know why you're being attracted to it. It could just be that you're super, super empathic, and that's why you're in that pile, because I find a lot of empaths feel like you do. So that's why. So it doesn't matter if it manifests into your natal chart. So now that I've got it out of the way, let's get in. So pile number 2, please, spirit guides, tap me into the Akashic records of my pile number 2s. Tap me into the Akashic records of my pile number 2s. What past life are my pile number 2s the most connected to? I don't know why I'm being shown Pikachu. You know, the yellow Pokemon, Pikachu? I'm being shown that for some reason. I don't know what that signifies, but I'm being shown Pikachu. Pile 2, please, spirit guides. What past life are my pile number 2s the most? What pile? We have the 4 wands. We have the 3 of cups. Okay. What past life are my pile number 2s the most connected to? What past life are my pile number 2s the most connected to? Page of Cups. So of course we have the cups coming through to represent the water energy. Pile number 2, what past life? Your card's exploded. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys. I'm being clumsy. Have you guys been dealing with intrusive thoughts recently? Because when I open up to this pile, I keep getting like a intrusive energy coming in. Nothing to worry about, of course. It's just you guys may have been dealing with that as something you've been alchemizing, or maybe fear in regards to maybe your own gifts or beings or anything like that. You may be alchemizing that right now because that keeps coming up for some reason. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Past lives of pile number 2. What past life are they the most connected to? Tap me into their Akashic records. What past life on earth are my pile number 2s the most connected to? Okay, we have the 2 of Cups. Interesting. Look at all these cups. Cards are like, yeah, this is your water pal, by the way. And then we have the Knight of Cups at the back of the deck. Love that. Okay, pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. Tap me into the collective and the Akashic records of my pile number 2s. What past life are my pile number 2s the most connected to? I feel like pile number 2, you have had a lot of lifetimes on Earth where there was a lot of community. There was a lot of community and there was a lot of support. I feel like you were around in like early incarnations on Earth, you know, like when we talk about Lemuria, and any, you know, anything to do with that. I'm not going to get into them all because there's a lot, you know what I mean? But I keep hearing is it Agartha? I keep hearing that. I don't even know if that's a place. I just keep hearing it. But I'm sure that that's like a place that there used to be on Earth. Agartha. I know it's AG. I don't know. But I would Google it because I feel like you may have a connection there. Agartha. I don't know. That's just something coming through. But anyway, I feel like you guys were around during the earlier times on Earth, specifically when people were in tribes a lot. There was big communities, a lot of collectiveness, a lot of togetherness, being in tune with yourselves, being in tune with nature, being in tune with the people around you, to the point that you were able to empathically feel each other. And I feel like as well, you come from a world and a dimension where the way you move and the way you communicate is through feeling. You understand things through feeling. You can feel the energy of a plant, you can feel the energy of people, you can feel the energy of animals, and it's a communication that is felt, which is quite interesting because pile 1 had a good gift coming through, but theirs was mental. It was like a strong mental energy. They were able to understand the world through their mental mind, whereas you are emotion, you feel. That's why this water energy is coming through. And I feel like you had a lot of lifetimes where there was like unspoken words between tribes and collectives because you were just able to feel and understand each other like that. You were able to understand in that way. And I feel like there's a reference of you guys having a lot of incarnations on a soul level coming to Earth because you genuinely loved coming here. It's like, I love the plants, I love the animals, the harmonies here. I love incarnating as a human being. I like to be here. I love, you know, the togetherness, the collectiveness. I love the vibration of Mother Gaia. You know, there's this feeling of that. And then I just feel like as your incarnations went on and you were evolving as a soul, I feel like it got to a point, because you were incarnating with your tribe a lot, I feel like it got to a point where your tribe started splitting off. So your tribe started getting smaller and smaller, not because you were becoming disconnected, we're always super connected, but I feel like a lot of your souls and a lot of the souls in your tribe were like, okay, now we need to understand how to go separate, to build ourselves on our own before we come into unison. And I feel like you were having a lot of incarnations where maybe you were ripped away from your tribe, or certain things happened where you had to cut off from your tribe. Certain relationships broke down, or that, you know, people were taken from you. There was a lot of that. And where I'm then being taken to, because it's like as time goes on, I'm incarnating and I have this longing for home, I have this longing for togetherness, but I'm born into a family where I'm isolated, or I maybe connected to my spiritual gifts and I'm isolated, maybe, you know, taken somewhere because of them, or someone passes away and I'm left on my own. And there's a lot of dealing with feeling alone and not being connected to people. And then I'm being taken to it doesn't feel like Victorian times. I'm being taken to like between, give me a timeline, the 1200s to the 1800s. And I feel like it got to the point where it was like, how do I explain this? I feel like you would have incarnated with a soul tribe member that would have been like a soulmate. So it would have been like maybe a romantic partner. And I feel like something would have happened so that you and this person were not together. Like there was a split. It literally feels like a Romeo or Juliet sort of split. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it feels like that. It's like I'm separated from someone. And it doesn't have to be a soulmate like in a partnership. It could be that it was a sibling you were separated from, that was taken away from you. It could have been a twin that you had that was taken away from you. It could have been a a parent that you were separated from, and I feel like it caused this feeling of within you then of I'm not going to be happy until this person's back in my life. And I feel like you searched for that person and that feeling of togetherness in a lot of people. I'm not being taken to just one incarnation for you, because I'm seeing that being like a strong impact, and then I'm being shown your next set of incarnations, you trying to find this light and this togetherness and this happiness in people around you that may not have had the best intentions for you. And then I'm being taken to like a scenario of like, you know, in Titanic with Rose and the guy who was not nice and he was rich, and she didn't love him and he didn't love her, but it was like for appearances. It was like, I feel like you were in situations like that where maybe you'd give your all to someone and they didn't have the best intention for you, and I feel like you'd get triggered and triggered until you're able to see that no one was ever disconnected, no one was ever gone. And that light and that togetherness was within you. That home you were searching for is where your heart was, and that home was all around you anyway, and no one's ever lost. And I feel like you had to learn that that was within you. And I feel like those are the set of incarnations you've been on now, to kind of empower yourself on your own, so that the next incarnations is when you all link up again. Even in this lifetime, I feel like you link up, but I feel like there's a mastery element of finding this home feeling, finding this power, finding this togetherness on your own. And I feel like it's not just you doing it. I feel like your soul tribe members are doing it. They're all finding that on their own, so that when you link up, instead of maybe leaning towards your community to have that brightness, you all understand that you have that light and that brightness within yourself. So when you shine, you're shining tenfold because you've already mastered it individually. It's really interesting. It's like you were going through a set of, I like to call them 4D incarnations. When we have incarnations when we're opening up to that 4D level of ourselves, we connect to Mother Gaia stronger, we connect to animals stronger, we connect to siblings and friendships and partnerships stronger, and there's an element of togetherness. We understand how to connect with people, and it's beautiful. And then what happens is, once we've mastered that set of incarnations, we start to have a bunch of incarnations where we are connected to the 5D, where all of that light and all of that togetherness, we're starting to find that within ourselves before anyone else, you know what I mean? Because we've already mastered finding it in each other and seeing it in each other. And I feel like that's the level of incarnations you're at right now. You're in like that 5D level where you're mastering this realm, mastering your emotions, mastering that togetherness, and building that foundation firm within you, so that you can call in your tribe in that way and be open to it, instead of allowing those wounds subconsciously manifesting as you searching outside of yourself for all of the answers, or searching to other people for those answers. So there's a few incarnations I'm being taken to for you guys, because I don't think it's as simple as one incarnation. I feel like I'm being taken to you guys intuitively remembering times where you were in tribes, and tribes where you were just this one collective, where you were part of a greater whole, and you guys really mastering that and understanding that. And I feel like that's your fuel that you think back to as, look what we've kind of like done to the world. We're all disconnected from ourselves, we're all disconnected from the guy, we're all disconnected from animals, and you remember that because it's your blueprint, because you know that's where Earth is about to head, where we're all interconnected again. So you remember that because it's your blueprint. But then you had to understand from a human perspective of how to feel lost and disconnected, and realizing that it's within you anyway, and your tribe was connected through energy anyway. So you had to go through that set of incarnations then to lose yourself, to find yourself. And I feel like then that is when you're being taken to this one particular life, or maybe a couple of incarnations with the same theme, from the 1200s to the 1700s, where you guys were, sorry guys, I keep feeling like there's like, I feel strong energy around me. I feel like you guys are super clairsentient, like I could feel it. I'm like, what is this? I'm feeling it. But I feel like that's when those set of incarnations, where there may have been a few, I feel like you were learning to have people taken away from you, to kind of like understand and grieve over that, and realize things weren't lost, to then understand, and again, feeling isolated, so that you could find that home within yourself and that empowerment within yourself, so that when you would link back up, you already had that power within yourself anyway, and you were able to draw them in, which would probably be this incarnation. it's like stages I'm being shown with you. It's not as to the point with you. Pile 1 was like, here's the past life, this is where they're most connected to, and this is what's going on now. Yours is like, it's coming in waves, pardon the pun for the water pile. It's literally coming in waves of how it happened for you. It's really, really interesting. And you guys may be hopeless romantics in this lifetime and yearn for love and want love, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that you've had to master and balancing that out, because we're supposed to want love and understand love and want that in. We are human beings, we move in tribes, we're meant to have connection, but sometimes when we don't balance it out, it can come to the point that we're just searching for it so bad that we can't even focus on the physical everyday life, and we don't see the point in being alive because we need to have someone else with us. That's when it manifests negatively. But when we balance that out, we're then able to just bring it in a very balanced way. You know what I mean? And I think that's what you've been balancing out and working through. Because I feel like there's been time periods in life where you felt alone. I want to go home. People are mean here. You know what I mean? All of that. But you've been finding your safety net, your light, your wisdom, your empowerment in yourself, so that when your tribe links up, it's not a case of you all being pieces of the same star, but you are all stars in your own right. I hope I've articulated that in the best way, but that is how those lessons have kind of taken place, and those are the incarnations you're being taken to. This Two of Cups is really reminding me of some sort of like parent that I'm super close with, and they're gone, and now I feel like my other half is gone. Or this is my partner but we can't be together, or this is my partner and they went out to sea and never came back. This is my partner, they went out to war, never came back. A lot of that, and yearning for that to come back, which you're, you know, manifesting back. It could even be like you've had abandonment wounds in your childhood with a parent. So it's like, what did I do wrong? And searching for what happened in everybody until you realize that it was never you, it was them, and you're able to bring that power back to you. So it could have even manifested as that, because I feel like it's also manifested in this lifetime, but I feel like you're mastering it. That's why this has been showing up for you guys. Really, really interesting. It's like, how do I explain it? It's like you were all part of the same seed in the same tree trunk, but those tree trunks grew branches, and now those flowers are blooming where more seeds are going to the ground, and you guys are realizing the power in your seeds alone. And even though you come from that same tree, you can plant yourselves and all grow as trees in your own right and still be super connected to each other, because you're part of the greater whole, which is Mother Gaia, if that makes sense. So it's like on a soul level, it's like we're all part of this same community, we're all emotionally connected, but it's 11:11 on the clock, by the way. 1:11, sorry, not 11:11. But I feel like you guys, it's like, okay, we're all part of the same tribe, we're all connected, but we have to lose ourselves to find ourselves, to realize that it's not like not to lean on each other. Just because we're all part of something doesn't mean that we don't all have that power within us too. We need to ignite that within us, so when we come back together, we're all aware of our power and we can shine brighter together. It's like that. Really interesting how that works. And I feel like you all would have had the same wounds in your own ways. I'm being shown like points of the star, which is interesting. Pile number 2. Pile number 2, Akashic Records in my pile number 2. What past life are they the most connected to? We have Ask Body. What past lives are my pile 2s the most connected to? We have Manifest. What past lives are my pile number 2s the most connected to? We have the Warrior. I feel like you've been on an inner journey where you have been a little bit isolated. But it wasn't a punishment. It was to give you time to learn about yourself and who you are in this incarnation, standing on your own first. I feel like it was a choice that you would have made incarnating, like, I want time to myself. I'm going to need time to myself to master who I am and understand who I am before I bring this in. I've had a bunch of incarnations where I was searching outside of myself, and that may manifest a little bit in this incarnation, but I know enough to have those breadcrumbs lead me back to my heart. I know enough now. It's like, there's no way it's even going to go past this incarnation. I get it now. So I'm going to spend this time on my own before I open up. Yeah. Pile number pile number 2, please, spirit guides. What past lives are my pile 2s the most connected to? We have release. So you guys as well may have significantly chosen a particular family to incarnate with in this lifetime. Like, okay, I know there's going to be abandonment issues here. I know that I'm not going to get my needs met completely here, but I know that that's going to give room for me to meet my own needs and go deep. And it's going to give me room to kind of like have me triggered enough in the sense of maybe going into a connection with this person because I'm mirroring a partnership that my parents had. And I know that that person's going to trigger me to really go within and be on my own so I can blossom and then draw the right person in. It's like that, you know what I mean? So you were it was really like strategized in regards to a family that you chose to incarnate with, or the friendships you made, or the partners you made. There's something really strategized here, even to the point that some of the people that actually incarnated were part of your soul tribe, but it wasn't in their blueprint in this lifetime to maybe fully bloom around you. They were just supposed to trigger you to look within. There's something about that coming through. Your people that you've got super close to in this lifetime have been really significant. Sometimes when people incarnate, it's just someone that they knew from a couple of past lives ago. They know them and they incarnate. You guys, it's like, no, I have a super deep connection to you, even though you're going to play out in a really karmic way where I'll stop talking to you. I have a really strong, significant connection to you. It's really like purposeful, if that makes sense. Really purposeful. And we have reflect. I feel like you're not even aware of it, but you reflect on your past lives a lot. But it comes in the wave of emotion, so your mental mind might not understand it. Like, you'll purge a feeling of loss when in your actual current life you might not have lost something in that specific moment, and it's literally coming from like incarnations and incarnations ago, and you just don't understand why you feel this grief, but it's coming from past lives and it's coming up for you to filter and work through. It's like you're scraping the barrel trying to get whatever you need to out of the subconscious and out of that karmic loop. And you reflect on past lives. Sometimes you'll even think of like scenarios in your head of certain time periods from the past, and you have no idea why it's happening. Like, I have no idea why I'm you'll have this vision in your mind of like you leaning over, let's say, a lake and crying over the loss of someone. Like, I'm literally being shown like when Moses is put in the basket, something like that, and you have no idea why you're doing it. And you're like, where is this coming from? Like, this has never happened to me. I have no idea why this is happening. And then it's like, you don't realize it, but you're reflecting over a past life and you're just not even aware. Really interesting. And I think movies and music trigger emotions from those past lives too. It's super, super interesting. And I think as well, pile number 2, and this is something that's coming through as well, I feel like your particular soul tribe as well, the people that you were around, or this just collective that I'm being taken to, you are very powerful souls, very, very aware of your own bodies, your emotions, your energy. I feel like you were able to manifest very well. You knew your power very, very well. That's why we have the sword here. It's reminding me of the sword and the stone with the warrior card here. This looks like the goat antlers or whatever they're called, the Capricorn energy. I feel like you guys were able to really manifest the physical world and have that power, and that power came from your heart. And I feel like a lot of maybe more negative or lower vibrational energies were able to benefit from you guys not seeing how powerful you were and being separate, because it was like that power then wasn't maybe able to hold its weight because you were learning lessons. But it's like, I'm hearing, I'm back, baby. I'm hearing that, and I just see you guys all like shining that light out within. It's like when things seemed lost, like you were all planted in the dark, and it was like that tree had been cut down, but it wasn't cut down because all the seeds were taken off that tree and planted so that like 10 more trees could grow, or 20 more trees could grow, or I don't know how many of you are watching this, thousands more trees could grow and bloom, so there was even more of a light incarnated on earth. It's really interesting like that. I feel like there was like maybe negative energies and they were like, that tree is really powerful, we need to cut that down. And then you all naturally were like, well, we need to learn lessons anyway, let them cut us down and we'll all plant ourselves in the dark, and in a couple of generations time we're all going to splinter up and bloom, and it's going to happen that way. And I feel like your power then comes back, and that manifestation and that energy comes back into the physical realm, and you're able to shine out as like 10 million trees, a literal forest. Really interesting. I really love that analogy, and that's what Spirit showed me. Because I have to say, when I was doing your reading, I kept getting intrusive thoughts and what felt like energies coming into the reading, and I kept having to like get into my spiritual cloak and send them away, and I was like, why are you coming in? And it was happening to the point that I wasn't even able to start the reading at the beginning. I didn't see the point in saying, because I thought, oh, this is only happening because I thought maybe there was a flaw in my protection this morning. But when I opened up to this energy, it kept blocking me from like trying to read at points, and I kept having to push this energy away, like out, and I was like, why are you doing this? But that's the thing, when we are connected to our power spiritually, when we're connected to that light, if there are cracks in that light, those lower vibrational energies, they're going to try and make their way in to cut down that tree. And I think that's why when I pushed that energy back just now, Spirit came through really strongly, like, yeah, they're trying to cut the tree down, but look how many more trees have grown since those seeds have gone in. And I felt this strong empowerment to the point that I just like shunned any energy around me away. It was really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. So let's pull your final cards. And your gifts as well, all of you, come from your heart, your inner child, your heart chakra, and being shown a really strong connection to dolphins. I feel like you guys are super connected to your inner child, and you, well, like you weave through the realms really well. You see people on a heart level. That's where the power lays for you guys. And that's how you'll know your tribe when you meet them, because they see the same thing. Really, really interesting. Okay, let's pull some cards. Pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 2. Pile number 2. What past lives are my pile number 2s the most connected to? I feel like the lower vibrational energies that I think we're all aware do kind of like walk on Earth and are around on Earth. I think that they at times were able to keep you from tapping into your power in past lives by maybe isolating you, imprisoning, things like that. And I feel like you broke out of it. I feel like that's something that's already been mastered. You guys breaking out of it to a point then that it was like, okay, well, they're finding that light within them, so let's mentally challenge them. Let's have them question their worth, like, you know what I mean, and that sort of things. I feel like you've been getting over that too, and it's just like, I know my worth, I know my power, I know who I am, and this light you're trying to dab out, it's still here, I still got it, it's shining even brighter, which was the whole point. You know what I mean? It's like you just bounce back 100 times over. You know what I mean? No matter what, it's like people are just sending you rocks and you're alchemizing them into love. It's like really beautiful, because that's your power. And it's no match for anything, and I feel like you're becoming aware of that, and you had to learn it was within you or not in somebody else. Love that. So we have alignment, and again we have the sword here again, and the sword has literal hearts on it. So again, it's showing me, and we have the big heart here, so again it's showing me that you guys work with your heart. That's where your power lays, and I feel like that's why, you know, that was something that triggered you the most, maybe not having people around you, because you see the value in people and the collective as a whole. You see the value in animals, the Gaia, people, everything. You see that, and you understand that, and you see that light, and I feel like that's why it's your gift. So when you saw those people that you value and you love, and you were able to express that love taken away from you, that's where it hit you, where it was hard, but it also took you out of your comfortability to alchemize it, to always have it within. Super interesting. And I feel like whenever you're tapping into your heart, that's when you're in alignment. That is when you're in alignment. Pile number 2. Pile number 2. Pile number 2, please. It's gonna come to a point, because when I was doing the reading, there was like an energy that kept trying to make its way through the reading, and I just kept sending it back and back. And then when I bounced back from that energy, and I had that strong energy within me, and I was like, you guys are going to plant yourselves like seeds, and then you're all going to grow as these really strong trees. As I was shown that, it stopped coming in, and then the same energy came back and was like energetically like, respect, I give up, it's fine, respect, and walked off. Like the energy literally walked off. And I think there's gonna come a time like that with you, where I feel like the same people that would have put you down, they're just gonna see you and see that respect in you. I feel like that was more of a representation of your energy, to the point that these energies aren't even gonna bother you anymore, because they have respect and know your power and know that they can't crack in. Because this same energy just came back and was like, respect, it's fine, I'm good, okay. Like, it's fine. And that same thing came back, and I think that was more representative of it playing out for me to pass on to you. Like, those energies aren't even going to bother then, because you just naturally alchemize it anyway. You're so aware of it before it even comes. It's like, boom. You know what I mean? I can see that you're trying to put me down to make yourself feel better. Go ahead. I really don't care. You know what I mean? Or I can see your inner wounded child, you know, coming through, and I can see these energies taking advantage of it. And I see you're trying to look for cracks, but honestly, you can sniff about. There's like, that sounds so bad. You can look about, even. You can look about. There's no cracks in my foundation. Oh my God. There's no cracks in my foundations. You can look about. There's nowhere to come in. Don't bother. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we won't mess with that person. Let's leave. It's getting to that point for you guys in this lifetime. I can't believe how that even came across then. That was really bad. Pile number two. Pile number two. Pile number two. What past lives are my pile number twos the most connected to? Insight. Yeah, this is a level of mastery that you guys have been reaching to find that light within yourselves, and I feel like you had to go on that journey, and I feel like this may be one of the last incarnations where you deal with that same mastery. I almost feel like your next set of incarnations will be more so coming down with your gifts super open to teach people on earth that are going through the lessons you've been going through in this last couple of incarnations, how to find that light within and guide them through. That's going to be your next set of incarnations, and that may be what you focus on for the rest of the duration of this lifetime when you reach that mastery. Showing people the light, helping people wake up. But I feel like when you incarnate again, and I know you're going to say probably, I don't want to come here again. I do see the majority of you coming here again. But your power is like completely open then, like you're aware of it. There's no losing yourself to find yourself. It's like, I'm aware of it and I'm just helping people. You may have certain things happen which crack open your empathy, to crack open your heart in that way. But you'll, again, it's like using that to help people, and it won't be as catastrophic as the last couple of incarnations have been, I'm being told. Really interesting. And I love the pinks for the higher heart chakra in here as well. In the back of the deck, we have Awakening. I feel like a lot of your timeline was spent on your own, and these incarnations were on your own, so you could go within and you could master your own inner world, which would create this awakening for you, you know? So you can shine from the inside out, which is literally what we have here. Shining out. That's what you guys have been doing. Interesting. Interesting. So pile 2, that is what I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to head over to Divine Feminine Energy for part 2 of the reading. I will have a channeled song for you guys in the description box, so hit the thumbs up and comment down below, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what past life you are the most connected to. So you guys chose the Green Aventurine. I'm going to start with Tarot, and then we're going to move on to your Oracle cards. Let's get straight in. So pile number 3, please Spirit Guides, my Green Aventurine pile. What past lives are my pile number 3s the most connected to? When I tap into your pile, I'm being taken to like really strong Mama Bear, Papa Bear energy. It's really interesting. Like I feel protective. I feel very aware of my own power, very in alignment. I don't know if I'm being taken to a past life or this is you currently. Like I'm not even being, I feel like it's now and in your past life. There's just, it's your higher self coming through more so than anything. I just feel like you guys are really old souls full of wisdom. That's one thing that I want to say. I think that you guys incarnating on earth, I feel like you feel quite protective and close on a heart level to human beings, Mother Gaia, and incarnating here. I feel like you feel, there's like this feeling of wanting to preserve Mother Gaia and feeling super close to human beings in general. There's like a feeling of that. I wonder what that is. Let's get in. Pile number 3, please Spirit Guides. Tap me into the Akashic Records on my pile number 3s. The Green Aventurine pile. What past lives are my pile number 3s the most connected to? What have we got? Temperance, okay. What past life? I feel like in this past life that I'm being taken to, you would have been in some sort of hierarchy, whether it would be royalty, whether it would have been like you were someone that would be like an astrologer or a psychic, and you were like behind the scenes helping people of influence, or there's a sense of people looking up to you and respecting you, and you're very grounded in this lifetime too. And you're very aware of tactics people use, manipulation, people's like you're aware of people's insecurities. You're aware of like you're super aware. You're also in tune with spirit to a point that you're super connected to your intuition, and it's like you're able to see into other realms to the point that you're like, I'm having this bout of information brought through from spirit. I'm only going to tell these people this much because they wouldn't even get the other part, and they could use it for bad if I told them the other part. So I'm going to hold this to me, and I'm going to keep this. And I feel like that would keep you in your power. You had your wits about you. But there's a sense of royalty here as well. It could have been, you know, like Egyptian times. I'm also being taken to like ancient India. You guys being in royalty, but like super connected to the other realms. And you may be my Egyptian pile, where I'm always showing people being super psychic and learning to channel in the Egyptian time. So it could be that timeline as well. But you're super, super gifted in that sense, I'm being told. So pile 3, pile 3's Akashic Records, please, Spirit Guides. What past life are they the most connected to? 3 of Swords. What past lives are my pile number 3s the most connected to? The Devil reversed, the Queen of Cups, and the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, let me put these straight for you guys. Queen of Cups. Oh, this feels like some sort of like Cleopatra, Goddess Isis. Like, you guys feel very impure and Parvati. Like, you guys were really, I don't know whether you connected with these beings on a soulful level, because look at the 6 of Cups. I know it connects to childhood, but when we think of childhood, we think of the parents, that connects us to like ancestral lineage. And ancestral lineage doesn't have to be in the physical world. Ancestral lineage can be in an energetic world, who you're connected to there, and who you've had incarnations with there, and who your ancestors were in those lifetimes too. You can be super connected to that. And I feel like you were, I feel like in past lives you would connect with certain deities like really, really strongly. Goddess Kali, Sekhmet, I even see like prophets, like old prophets, and connected to that, connecting to them to get information through. I feel like you've spent a lot of lifetimes doing that. Pile number 3. Temperance. Why have we got Temperance here? Temperance and the 3 of Swords. The Devil reversed. I feel like, you almost feel like, sorry guys, I'm just getting information through. You guys feel like, you know Robin Hood, and he stole from the rich to give to the poor. I see you guys having strong connection to spirit, strong information from spirit, to the point that you're aware of like your Akashic records, and aware of where Earth is going, what your incarnation is all about, and you're super aware of it, and you're seeding information through, but you're around people who don't use it for good. It's similar to pile number 1, but different to pile number 1 in a way that you don't, it's like you give false information to help what would be classed back then as a minority, because they're not in the know of certain things that are happening. That's why I'm being taken to Robin Hood. It's like, I'm able to mask, you know, like when you go through different realms and you have like a mask over you, a shield over you, so people can't see you. And see you going into those realms. You were able to do that in the physical realm, where you'd have a mask and you'd either play dumb or you'd act. It's like, it's given double mission. to put it like in that way, it's given Severus Snape when he pretended that he was on Voldemort's side, but all the while he was working for Dumbledore and was working for the good side. But he allowed himself to look like the bad guy so that he could do good for people, so that he could protect Harry. It's literally like that, but yours is like for the good of people. It's like I'm incarnating with a mask over me, pretending that I'm incarnating and giving information, but really I'm throwing them off scent and I'm helping people that actually need it. I'm giving my cup to those that are out in the cold. I'm unshackling them from these restraints. All the while they're not aware of this. They think I'm doing things for my own gain just like they are. They think that I'm doing things for my own power just like they are, but I'm not. And this doesn't have to be in a psychic, spiritual way, even though I feel like it is, because you feel like you're connected to, like, you know, like I'm being taken to like Orion's belt. I'm being shown that's like Sirius energy and Syrian beings, which always comes through as a connection to Egypt for me and Atlantis, or even Atlantean beings. It's like you're connecting to that and you're getting this information, but it's like double mission. So you're like shielding yourself and maybe playing dumb or playing none the wiser when actually you're really in the know. And you're helping people out. It's reminding me of like, you know, back in the day, there was like a woman, and I swear to God, she would like rescue people that were taken into like the concentration camps, and she would rescue them. But I think she had to kind of like play the villain and look like the villain so that she wasn't kind of her, like people were thrown off scent. But she helped rescue a lot of people and help a lot of people at her own risk. And I feel like you did something like that. You could have even been, in a sense, because I'm being taken to like Aladdin, where Jasmine pretends that she's poor and she goes into what's it called? What's the place called? I can't remember the place where Jasmine and Aladdin come from, but it's like I'm being shown that like you'd pretend like you were like this powerful person that was just very selfish and using it for their own gain, but you were this powerful person, but you were using it in a way to help people. And I'm not being taken to a specific incarnation, because you've done that for time and you're still doing it now, I'm being told, to the point that you're the type of person, maybe in childhood you would have like masked, in the sense of maybe played dumb for people or played none the wiser when people were trying to get things over you, until you knew you were in a safe space to open up and reveal who you naturally were. Does that make sense? You've done that a lot because you're able to mask your energies very well, because you understand and have already kind of mastered the earthy realm. You just incarnate to like help, kind of similar to pile number one, but you feel like a future energy of pile number one, where you're helping bring the balance of kind of like that energy and bringing that power into the people, or just helping people. It's like I'm going to incarnate into a family that are going through a lot, and people are going to look at me and not really see me as a threat, because maybe I don't have a lot of money, or maybe they're just going to feel sorry for me, but actually I'm going to bounce back and have a lot of power and bring light to that situation. But it's like I'm going undercover. It's giving double mission. It's really, really interesting. And you have those skills of being able to master and manipulate that. But you have this strong empathy as to why you do it. And I feel like in this incarnation, you may be helping people that are maybe super focused on their heart space and super focused on the light, and showing them the dark and showing them how to connect to their own power and be aware when this darkness comes in, or be in control of their own darkness, so that other people can't put them in this Five of Pentacles energy and keep them in these restraints. That's why you're incarnating. But there's a specific lifetime where you started doing this a lot, and it's either ancient India or ancient Egypt are the two places I'm being taken to the most. I'm also being taken to Africa too. And I'm being shown you guys being in a position of power, but moving in a way even manipulating people that work with energy so well, because you're able to deflect or mask your energy. But it's like for the greater good sort of thing. It's to keep people safe. It's to help people out. It's like they're going to go into this town and take this many people. Well, they trust me enough to know this information, so I'm pretending to green light on it and pretend I'm aware of it too. Not because I'm actually aware of it, but I'm going to see that information to them through, I'm going to tell this person to tell this person to tell this person, so that these people in this tribe can move. So when my people go and head there and I head there, pretend I'm part of it, there's no one there. I saved them. But I had to pretend I was part of this so that I could make them aware. Otherwise they wouldn't have known. Double mission. This is really interesting. This is giving me some tea. I feel like this would have happened, you guys being around royal families. I feel like your higher self's like, yeah, let's incarnate with that royal family because they've been getting up to stuff that they shouldn't be, and this needs to be put to a stop. I'm going to incarnate as one of their daughters, and I'm going to change this around. And it's like, I'm coming through to stop this. I'm coming through to stop this, this darkness. And it's like you're incarnating, and like from young, I feel like you're just channeling from your Akashic records, and you're like, oh, this must be stopped, but I know I have to be careful. And you know from a young age, like, I have to be careful. Let's see how we can. It's really interesting. Your higher self as well is like, well, your higher self's looking at people getting up to some benevolent stuff, and your higher self's like smacking it, like, not on my watch, and coming through and finessing the finesser. That's what your higher self is doing. You will not do this trickery here. Like, that's how your higher self's coming through. And that's what I felt when I tapped into you. You felt protective of people. You felt mama bear, papa bear, and that's why. Especially with children and young children, and looking out for them too, and animals. It's like, not on my watch. You are not doing that here. I love this for you guys. This is like mad respect. I love this. I love this. So we have power straight away. Love this. We have power. You guys may as well have had time periods as well where maybe you've seen a lot of darkness, so you would maybe question in yourself, am I the bad guy? Am I the bad one? Am I the one in the wrong? And feeling guilt. But I think it was because of all you'd seen, and all you'd seen on a higher level with your spirit, like with your higher self, and your spirit guides. I feel like they let you know certain information so you can be aware of how people move, because there's a lot of darkness in the world and we have to be aware of it to evolve and become wiser to it. And I think that sometimes there may have been, situations like, am I the bad guy? Am I wrong? But it's you becoming aware of certain negative things in people so that you can overwrite it and be aware of it and analyze it and push it apart and alchemize it to light. You've been aware of it. I see you guys burning towers down to build back a palace where everything's in a more balanced way. You know what I mean? Like in Mean Girls, when Katie Haring goes in, and obviously the plastics were not very nice, and I feel like no one in that movie really was. I feel like everyone was a bit of a mean girl in that movie. But when Katie Haring came in and she did what needed to be done, what happened then was they all kind of split off, and there was more of a balance. Everyone was a lot more friendlier then. There was a balance there. It kind of dispersed, and there was more power in other people's hands, and there wasn't a hierarchy. It's like you're doing that. It's really interesting. And then people that could have like being emotionally vulnerable to be swayed into darker energies, you're able to help them tap into their own power and their inner way, so they can see those people coming and they don't get swayed. So it's like you're blocking it that way, from taking people off their path, because some people can get derailed off their mission, and derailed into certain energies that can happen, that sometimes is nothing to do with a soul contract. They can just genuinely happen. And I feel like you're able to you come in to kind of stop that, or to stop karma from unfolding constantly. It's like, not on my watch. And that incarnation, there's a particular incarnation from ancient Egypt, like ancient Africa, ancient India, where you were like, no more. It's not continuing. I'm not doing it anymore. We have the pillar. What incarnation? Ascension. I keep hearing your higher self say, and I feel like this would have been in one of your incarnations, everybody has the right to their own power. Everybody has their right to live their life the way that they want. Everybody has the right to their free will. Everybody has the right to their own physical body, I'm hearing. Everybody has the right to love the way that they want to love. Like, I'm so big on people getting what they want, people having enough resources. Why are we hoarding resources here when it can be split up over here? Like, everybody has the right to live a healthy, happy life. That's what it's here for. So why are people hoarding it and making it difficult for other people? It's like, I need to show them their power and give what I can to them. And that's what I see you guys doing. But it's like, instead of just running with your heart, it's like, I have to be smart. I have to be smart. I have to poke holes in the other foundation, and I have to dismantle the other foundation, and the only way into that foundation is going actually in. I have to plant myself in to actually get rid of that karma and help people. It's not enough me telling them and helping them. I've got to actually incarnate and become that change. I've got to do it. It's really interesting. Pile number, manifest. The cards come up pretty much every reading, and we have the wildling. I said that so quietly. The wildling. I don't know why I said that quietly. So that's what we have here. This is reminding me of like energetic, like crossing. It's like you guys helping people break out of generational curses, helping people break out of their own trauma bonds, helping people break out of their own loss or their feeling of loss of their own power. It's like people are being energetically crossed and you're uncrossing them. And it's like, I don't mind being the bad guy for it though. It's like, I really don't mind. As long as I'm helping people, I don't mind. I can alchemize any of that. It's fine. You can call me a bad guy. It's you know, even if you think I'm the villain. It's even like the people that I'm helping even think I'm the villain, but it's okay because I'm helping them. I'm not here for them to like rejoice in me, because it's like, I can't show that I'm in this past life. It's like, I can't show I'm helping them. I have to be seen as the bad guy for this to work. It's reminding me of like the Hunger Games when I can't remember the guy, but he's the head game maker for the Hunger Games, and he pretends to be the bad guy and on President Snow's side of like killing people and stuff like that. He has to pretend and get into that role, otherwise the scent's going to be off. He can't tell Katniss that he's got this whole plan to save them and start a revolution. He can't, so he has to be seen as this bad guy and this head game maker and look that way, so the scent isn't there. But at the end of the day, he was the one that actually capitalized off the revolution and helped free everybody from the Hunger Games and get them to safety and free everybody in the long run. But he didn't mind looking like the bad guy while doing it, because it was like, I have to come across this way to help. And I feel like that's what you would have done. I see you incarnating in like in you know, like we all know, like in certain places on earth, there's certain people that harvest maybe a lot of money or a lot of energies, and they don't do the nicest things. We know with like trafficking and everything in this world, there's so much that goes on, and there's a lot of it's like you're incarnating around these people to stop it, to bust them, and it's like, don't worry, I can handle it, I can alchemize it. You would have done that in past lives. Specifically, I'm being taken to royal families. You would have incarnated around to watch them, but you wouldn't have been either you were a part of the royal family incarnated in and made changes like that, and they would never suspect you as someone, or you would have been like a loyal like servant to one of them, or their own astrologer, a psychic, or witch, or you know, something like that. You would have been close to them, but so close that they wouldn't even suspect you, and you helped other people. It's really interesting. Throwing them off scent. Not what I expected to come through, but that's what's come through. So let's pull your final cards. Pile number 3, please. And it's all coming from the heart. I'm hearing that Emily Sandé song, What I Did for Love. I think that's going to be your song, pile 3. I'm going to have a channel song for you all in the description box, and I think that's going to be your song. Pile number 3. What incarnations What incarnation is my pile number 3 the most connected to? And I love how we have an emphasis on the blue. Super intuitive. We have insight, which is literally what I was explaining about you guys channeling a lot of information through, having access to spirit quite young, or having access to your Akashic records quite young. I see a lot of downloads. And we have variance. I feel like you had a lot of lifetimes where you did master a lot of things that most people would. So it was like, okay, my mission here is to come to Earth and help others. That's why I'm here. I'm a light worker. But I don't mind playing in the dark to spread the light, because the dark is where it's needed. You know what I mean? Like, I see that. Yeah, that's really interesting. Back of the deck, we have visualize. Visualize. Variance, insight, and visualize. I feel like you guys get psychic visions, symbols shown to you, images. I feel like you have psychic foresight, because and it's coming from this past life, because I feel like I keep seeing you guys being part of like maybe a tribe or a collective of people that are like, yeah, we're gonna go here and we're gonna like take these people, or we're gonna do this, and you're like, yeah, and then intuitively you're like, right, let me tell this person, and then it's like you stop them from doing it. You manage to stop them from doing it, or like there's like money that could have these people get their hands on something catastrophic, but you are able to do something with that money so that it's get lost, so they can't get that weapon or get that thing that's like catastrophic, and they're like, oh my god, where's the money gone? And you're like, oh my god, where's the money gone? And you're like, even more so, like the most angry, like, oh my god, where's the money gone? The least expected person, but it was you that took it so that you could help the people that it would have been inflicted on. And you do that in this lifetime, like humanitarian work, helping people. I don't know if in this lifetime you are around a lot of people that have negative intentions. You might have been, but I think that you 100% are definitely someone that wants to help people that are not connected to their own power. And I think that's part of your incarnation. And I find a lot of people incarnating at this time period have that same kind of mission in their own way. And I think that's why I was taken to that, for you to be aware of that. To help people get rid of these shackles. Super interesting, part 3. So that's what I had for you. That's blown my mind a bit. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. Pile number 2 is going to be over on Divine Feminine Energies channel, so remember to check that out. And I do have a song for your pile in the description box as well if you want to listen to that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next reading. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pal 4, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what past life you are the most connected to. So if you guys chose the pink moss again, this is your reading. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to the oracle cards. I do want to say the first thing that I was taken to, not necessarily pigeons, I was going to say then, not necessarily the pyramids in Egypt, but I was just being shown you guys, it almost feels like you're sitting inside of a Merkaba or like a triangle, sitting in there energetically as protection. So I don't know if you guys imagine yourself under a pyramid of light when you protect yourself, or you guys just work with the Merkaba and that's what you sit inside when you when you protect yourself. But that's just something that came through for whoever that resonates for when I tapped into your energies. That's quite interesting. So pile number 4, please, spirit guides, can you tap me into the collective of my pile number 4s, the Akashic records of my pile number 4s. What past life are my pile number 4s the most connected to? I'm hearing Colours of the Wind by Pocahontas. Can you paint with all the colours of the wind? We have the 3 of Swords reversed. First off, pile number 4, tap me into the collective of my pile number 4s. What past life are my pile number 4s the most connected to? 7 of Swords. What past life are my pile number 4s the most connected to? 9 of Wands. the World reversed. And the back of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups. Okay. There's karma you're resolving in this lifetime in regards to the life we're about to talk about. Okay, where's this coming from? Pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. What past life am I pile number 4's the most connected to? I'm being shown Moana, when Moana's heart, Tafiti's heart is taken, and she walks across the ocean to give the heart back to Tafiti, and Tafiti is this really wild, they depicted her as this big vicious monster, and when she has the heart given back to her, she comes back into this Mother Gaia-like essence, and she's just full of life again. There's greenery everywhere, there's no more lava and anger and pain, and it's one of the most beautiful scenes that I've ever seen, and I love that scene. And I feel like you are somebody, pile number 4, that is a healer. I think you know this, and I feel like you're somebody that has so much light and love to give, and it just regenerates. I don't feel like you ever fall short of how much love you can give. And first of all, Spirit's saying that works both ways. You're able to like receive a lot and not let it get to your head as well. You're one of those people. I feel like you feel very angelic in the sense that you come from quite high realms, and I feel like you are here to seed love, just genuinely be love for people and live as, I feel like you guys are super connected to your inner child. Keep that very preserved within you, and I feel like you're super connected to that. And I feel like you are someone that, in this particular lifetime that I'm being taken to, I keep being shown you going like this, which this is just an energy that I'm being shown. You're like this, and you're holding your heart in your hands, but there's a naivety because you come to earth and you come from a realm where everything is love, and then I see someone saying, oh, let me look, and then you go on like this, and someone just taking it from you and running with it, and I just see this pain and this sadness, like, why have you taken this from me? Which is probably why I was being shown the Tafiti scene where her heart's taken away from her. And it's like that energy that I'm being shown that it's symbolizing, it's like your purity, your innocence, your light, your inner child. I feel like it is at the forefront of the majority of the lives you have when you incarnate. And I feel like every lifetime that you come to earth, I feel like you've dealt with people because of this angelic sense, that the way you look at life, I feel like you've dealt with people that have really tried to poke at that light, poke at that inner child, tear that inner child down. And sometimes it wasn't even in a malicious way, it was out of fear. People that have never been connected to that within themselves in this incarnation, fearing that you have it, or being jealous that you have it because theirs was taken a long time ago and they have just turned dark because of it. And it's like, when in this lifetime specifically, and in the last couple of lifetimes too, you've had a lot, it's the same theme. When that light was taken, and nothing's ever taken, it's just the illusion. When you felt that power was taken from you and that light was taken from you, instead of just allowing yourself to turn dark, I feel like you knew that love for yourself, like that self-love, that inner child, that flare, that light was still out there. And even when people were just poking at that light within you and chucking all these rocks at you to make you pessimistic like themselves, or to really just take your power away from you, you may have reacted with subconscious wounds, of course. You may have reacted with abandonment wounds. You may have got really hurt, but nothing ever really scarred you. I feel like you just kind of bounced back, and I feel like you naturally would follow your intuition even when you were in pain to find that light again. And I feel like you may have even gone into connections and maybe gone through the same lesson with people where you jump into connections with people and give them your all, and they would just take from you. And then it was like, that would never scar you. You jump into a connection, give your all, they would just take from you. But it's like, no, I know that I'm not wrong in this light that I'm feeling within myself, and having this light within myself and this love within myself. I know I'm not wrong, and I'm going to keep searching for it, and I'm going to keep going, even though when people are hurting at me, even though when I'm purging all of this pain up, even when people are betraying me, I'm going to search for it, because that light you were searching for in other people, it wasn't actually in other people, and it took your It took experience for you to understand that that power that you were searching for was that power and light and love that you felt was taken away from you back in this incarnation, and you were searching for it. And I feel like it's come to a head in the past couple of incarnations, specifically this one. That's why it's so strong for you coming through, where you're like, this power, this light, this love that I felt that was lost and people were trying to take away from me. Even when I went into my subconscious wounds and into my shadow self, I still came back with this light within me. Why? Because when I was searching through my darkness and I was searching through my subconscious wounds, I realized it wasn't a physical thing that I was searching for, and there was nothing actually lost within me. That power was in me, within me all along. And I had to go into my own darkness to see that the reason that there was no light around me was because it was shining within. And no one ever took it from me. That person from those incarnations before, no one took it from me. That person in this incarnation that maybe bullied me or, took that light from me in a partnership, they never actually took it from me. It was within me all along. And it's taken me these time periods to realize that, that light's within me. So now when these people step towards me, I am super aware of their intentions beforehand, because I've dealt with my own darkness and theirs, and I'm able to be wary but still show love to a point that I'm not giving that power away, and I'm able to balance that out. And with that being said, I'm able to bring in what I deserve, because my power is also back to me, and I know what I deserve, and I know I'm ready to receive everything that I give out. Just because I'm able to replenish my light doesn't mean that everyone can bite off it if it's going to make me miserable. Like, I need to receive that back too. And I feel like I'm shocked the Temperance card hasn't come back. It's like you're realizing, that light that kept you going, and that optimism that kept you going the whole time. It wasn't outside of you, and it wasn't just like this star in the sky that was like guiding you. It was you. It was that light that was always within you. It was always a part of you. You were that star in the sky. You were that light. The reason you kept bouncing back from all of those situations, no one helped you bounce back from those situations. You bounced yourself back from those situations because you alchemized every time, because you are an alchemist. And I don't know, they're not taking me to a specific time period, so I feel like it would have happened a couple of times, because I feel like you haven't had many incarnations on Earth. And I feel like it's because you're from, it feels like angelic realms, and you knew that you had to master the earthly realm to a point where you were able to balance your energy, because naturally in those higher realms, you give love and you receive love back. You don't know the word of a lie or negative energy. You mastered that millennials ago. So it's like, we don't talk like that here. We don't work like that here. So it's like, I don't need to master that, because we're all love anyway. So it's like you're walking around with this open heart. But the thing is about Earth is there are people that are going to take from it, and you've learned how to master this realm, and master your own power and walk amongst this realm in your own power without people taking it away from you, so that it becomes a gift and not a blessing, because you have a really, really big heart. And I feel like with the pink master gate, I feel like there would have been situations in your childhood that mimic this abandonment wound, or mimic this wound of people hurting you or taking away from you. Maybe you had a narcissistic parent in this lifetime, but it mirrored this feeling that you had in your early sets of incarnations, where you just wanted to give and love and help, and people crucified you. You know what I mean? It's like Jesus when he was trying to help people and they just stuck him on a cross. You know what I mean? And he was genuinely trying to help people. Or Yeshua, let's say Yeshua, because that's, his name. So it's like, that's what I see for you guys. Like, I see you guys having a scar or a pain and a hurt, but then still giving that love, because it's like, I know I can see love in you guys. I know that there's love out there, but it was coming from within you, and you're here to shine it out. You don't need to give a piece of yourself to people. You just need to shine people out and show with example. And that's what you've been learning. And the reason this is reversed is it's coming to an end. Because you're realizing that, and that's why we have the Ace of Cups, because that power, that love, that emotion, it was always within you. And I feel like people were taking from your cup all the time. And you were like, yeah, have it. And then you were like, okay, what have you got for me? And then no one had anything for you. And you were like, oh my God, what's going on? Why is this happening? I don't understand. Why are people like this? Why are people selfish? Why are people doing this? Until you were able to go within and be like, oh, I'm here to be a light worker. I'm here to oh, so I have to be careful where this energy's going, and I have to pour into me too. Oh, and you realize that, and then you're like, oh, all those people, it wasn't that they disliked me, it wasn't that they were mean, it wasn't that there was anything wrong with me. They just weren't aware. They didn't have that level of awareness, so they were just taken. It was never about me. They don't have the power in their hands to take me out of my power like that. Oh, and you get it then. And then it's like, okay. And that's when you're able to alchemize. And that's why that's come through. And I feel like you would have, even in this lifetime and in past lifetime, had time periods where you acted out of your subconscious, where you were maybe begging for love, begging to see that love back, begging to see that light back. Because I'm hearing again that same scene with Moana, and she's like, I know your name, this is not who you are, you know who you truly are. And then she has that heart return back to it. It's like you remembering your power, you remembering that you were not those words people said to you when they were trying to take you out of your power and tear you down. You realizing that. Very windy outside, apologies guys. Pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 4. I feel like in this incarnation it stemmed from childhood. Something happened in childhood. It was a parent or someone that would have started this trying to take you out of your energy. Dare to dream. Pile number 4. And I feel like you're someone that's always dwindled through the realms, been very connected to spirit, always been optimistic about what you could even achieve in life, because you have this diamond here and then you have this claw trying to grab it. It's like people are like, you can't achieve that, you can't get that, you can't achieve that. And it's not because they didn't think that you could. Maybe you would have taken that on, but it was because they were scared that you could, because if you could, that would then maybe trigger their own insecurities. Maybe they needed you where they could keep you, where they could take some of your energy. You know what I mean? I want to hold on to this diamond. I don't want this diamond realizing its worth, because then it might go somewhere else. I want to take it. You know what I mean? I don't want this diamond, you know, making the best of itself. You know what I mean? Because then it will realize its worth, and I don't want that. And I feel like you dealt with that of people trying to target your dreams where you could have grown and realized your power and keep you away from that. We have versatility. Pile number 4, please, Spirit Guides. Oh, we have take risk. Sorry for the rain, guys. One more card. Oh, there we go. We have 2 actually. I feel like you've done a lot of releasing, because it wasn't raining this much until I did your pile. So I think you've done a lot of releasing. You may even be crying right now. This may even be triggering wounds for you to heal, because the rain's coming down strongly. And rain heals. Rain really heals. We have the underworld. Yeah, going into the subconscious and weaving, alchemizing. And love. Oh my god, guys, we literally have love. Here's on all you need is love. I'm hearing that. Your purity and your light, it just was never... You may have felt like you couldn't see it, but the reason you couldn't see it was because it was coming from inside the house. It was coming from you. And you were like, why is it dark here on earth? Why are people dark? People aren't dark. People aren't dark, but you're here to be a light. So you're shining yourself into situations where people might not see that light within themselves and target you for it. We have Get Curious as well at the back of the deck. Yeah, take risks, underworld. I feel like you're someone as well that's going to reach really high heights in this lifetime because you've reached really low lows. In regards to career, you may even do something that's out of the norm. It's 2:11 on the clock, by the way, if you guys have been seeing 11 or 2:11. But I see you guys maybe traveling, alchemizing to a point that your whole family are like, how did they get to that point? Like, whether it's in finances or just emotionally, cutting ties and alchemizing and healing from things that people were like, they're never going to heal from that, and then you do. It's like I reached low lows, and when I found my power, I reached high heights. And it wasn't that I couldn't have reached that power when I was in my low lows, but I had to go through that alchemizing process to cut the weaves, cut the weeds even, and realize that I was that power. I didn't realize I was the power before, so how could I do it with imposter syndrome? Or how would I even have known that I could do that? I would have talked myself out of it. I had to realize I was the power first. I see you guys doing that and really alchemizing and expanding. That's what I'm getting with the versatility card. Like, you guys being expansive and tapping into your Akashic records and gifts that you have. And I see you guys working in the shadow realms, working in lower realms to seed that light and alchemize it out, like back up, and being shown seeds being planted so flowers can grow. It's like the epitome of the rose that grew from the concrete. That's what you guys are. The love card here, like, I feel like you guys work from the heart, come from those, you know, the angelic realms. Like, that's you guys, you know. So let's pull your final cards. Pile number I think for channeled song, I think you're actually going to have the scene from Moana, because I think that it would really register with you. So I'm going to actually have that as your scene. Pile number 4. Pile number 4. What past life for my pile number 4 is the most connected to? I feel like you guys are empathic. We have insight. Your heart rules the way. It's like that Rumi quote, listen to your heart, it knows the way. I feel like your heart leads the way in everything you do. Career, partnerships, everything. I almost feel like it knocked the world card to be like, mission complete. You know, we'll put it up right. Completion. That's what we're here to do. I love that it only knocked that card. That's quite interesting. We then have create space. I feel like you're someone that's here to hold space for people too when they're purging, when they're crying. I feel like you can take on a load of energy and just alchemize it. So I feel like you guys may be like carers, therapists, counselors. You know, you guys may be Reiki healers. And not only that, you just do it naturally. Like, you'll sit with a friend and you'll, you know, really, really help them out by just saying 3 words, but you've held space for them. You're one of those types of people, you know what I mean? I think that a lot of your gifts come from your heart chakra, 100% with that card. And then we have soul song, and I feel like you'd like to hear this, so I'm going to tell you. I don't know where I was the other day in regards to energy wise, but I was not on what felt like Earth. I was somewhere else. And when I went there, I don't know what realm I was in. I didn't see anybody. But when I was walking on the ground, it was like grass, but it wasn't. But all I could see, it looked at first like rainbows. It was as I was falling asleep. It looked like rainbows on the ground, like loads of little rainbows, and they were everywhere. And I remember saying out loud to myself, oh my God, there's rainbows on the ground. As I started to look at the rainbows, and I guess my mind was tailoring itself to spirit, those weren't rainbows. They were colours, but they were auras, and they were all over the ground, and they looked like physical rainbows. And the more I tapped into them, and the more I tapped into everything around me, there was just colour everywhere. And the colour had a consciousness, and it was all light. And I just felt this strong energy, and it almost looked like I was looking at this world then, as I was tapping more into it, like I was looking through a kaleidoscope. There was all of these energies, and they were bright energies, and I was looking all around me, and I didn't see anything. And then as I was like looking at these energies, there was this song that I heard. And it wasn't like anything you'd hear on Earth. It wasn't even like, I guess you could maybe describe it in a way like opera, but it wasn't. It was just this beautiful song coming through, and I just felt so healing to me. And there was no one around me. I remember going up to what looked like, it wasn't a tree, but it was a tree. I feel like my brain was like, oh, that's like a tree on Earth, but it didn't look like a tree. And I asked it because it had a consciousness. I was like, where am I? And they gave me a name, like Proxalon, I don't know. They gave a name like that. Never heard of it. Absolutely never heard of it. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if that's, you know, a part of where my soul's from, but there was just this soul song, and it just felt like it was coming from my heart. And when I look at that card, I feel like that place that I went to, I feel like maybe I went there for this reading, to let you guys know that you may be from that too, because it came from the heart. There was just this song. So I don't know if sometimes you hear a song, like you hear music, or like when you're meditating you hear this kind of sound or a song, or you feel the song even if you can't actually hear it. I feel like I'm being told to say that because these look like rainbows around it, and it looks like where I went, but I just don't know the place. It was like it's like I don't know. It started with P though. If you know any dimensions or worlds that start with P, let me know in the comment section. But I feel like you may be from that realm. I don't know, it just feels that way. You have a really, really beautiful heart. Higher realms I feel like you're from. So that's what I have for you, pile number 4. And I feel like that's the reason that you're more connected to that incarnation, that it's dissoluting out now, but I feel like the reason you were most connected to that incarnation was because where your heart was taken from you, is because it drove you to find that light within yourself, to become empowered, so that you could walk the realms with your heart open and know that no one could take it from you. I think that was why that was always at the forefront, because it had to drive you. It had to. I find that when I tap into past lives for anyone, they'll take me to an incarnation that is driving their current incarnation through a trigger or through a flame of love or a flame of light or a flame of motivation, and they remember those memories, and that's why it comes through, because it's like, this is why. This gave me the reason why. You know what I mean? That's how it tends to happen. So that's why I was taken there. But they haven't really too much focused to me on the specific life, because I feel like it was the same energy. I think they wanted me to focus more on this theme rather than the ins and out of that particular life. So that's what I have for you, Pile 4. I do have your channel song in the description box. Part 2 is going to be over on Divine Feminine Angie's channel, so head over there. The link's going to be in the description box for part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.